This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show where after the collision, we sift through
Wreckage mania.
that Wreckage mania, indeed. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is my co-host, the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams, and you're listening live on Hungry Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, channelattitude.com. After the fact, Vet, it is the Wreckage Mania week. And luckily AEW got the memo because we didn't get Collision on the Saturday night, right? Lucky them. But we're here to sift through some AEW Wreckage. But before we do that, I have to ask, and I got to know, but what do you think of Mania overall, night one? Anyway, I know you're doing the watch along with Brandon and BV. I was going to join you, but I thought I'd leave you to it. But what do you think anyway, man?
You know, I don't know if it was just because of the relaxed atmosphere of the watch along itself, but it seemed like it flew. And even when I look back on because I missed the beginning, I was sleeping and I slept through the opening match with Jay.
Funny enough, so did I.
Winning the title. So, yeah. So I definitely missed that part, but when I joined in, even when I went back to go look on Peacock and watch the match back, the total runtime was only like 3:36, I think is what it says on Peacock.
Interesting.
You know, and you compare that to something like Dynasty, it's like, well, damn. And they definitely padded out some time. I felt like, you know, regardless of the match quality and everything, overall the presentation was nice. You know, of course it's a little, we've discussed over the past several months how, you know, the advertising everywhere is a little bit garish, a little bit, it feels a little bit low class or whatever, but you know, it's fine. The only thing I would have changed really, besides, you know, not talking about my personal opinions on the wrestling and stuff, but just as far as we're talking about the overall presentation of the night, I definitely would have cut Triple H out of the beginning, cut Shawn Michaels out of announcing the attendance. We don't need to see that shit. Like, nobody gives a shit. You can have Michael Cole say the attendance from the desk and not That's even true. Stand up. You just put the number up. I don't know if anybody really at home is caring about that. I don't know if somebody had like their notepad out and they're like, oh, 61. So, okay, I see. Like, I don't think that really makes a difference. It's just for statistical purposes. So if you couldn't even completely sell out the arena, I wouldn't even brag about the number. You know, just shit like that takes up an extra couple minutes that you don't really need. I would cut those type of things. But I liked how even matches that honestly, you know, you kind of look at it in years past, you wouldn't have had, like, there's no way a Vince McMahon era would have had a Naomi versus Jade Cargill on that card, right? But they had it. It had time. Again, regardless of my opinion whether it should have had time or not, it had time. They had a package to start it. You know, every match felt like it was kind of important and it belonged there on the show. They did a good job of presenting the matches. And, you know, once again, for the fifth time, regardless of what you thought about the matches or the outcomes, for just talking about the presentation, I thought it was pretty, you know, pretty good. Ironically, though, and then I'll ask your basic opinion too, because I didn't watch your review show, but ironically, you know, all I see on my timelines and stuff is people just bitching, right?
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that.
How short memories do you guys have? Did you just start watching wrestling like 6 weeks ago? Do you like talking about the build, how bad the build is, how bad the match is? Like, have you ever watched a WrestleMania in the past 10 years? WrestleMania has sucked a dick for a long time now. A long time. This was one of the more watchable WrestleManias that I can actually remember.
It fucking was. It actually was, dude. I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad we were thinking along the same lines. Because I didn't see your watch along, so I didn't know. I'm literally asking you right now, and I thought it was good too. I actually was positive about it. And like you said, all I saw, and I mentioned this on our review show, everyone freaking bitching, dude. Everyone was just totally bitching and just putting the show down when I actually didn't think it was really that bad.
Zane is reminding me of this Easter. That's right. Happy Easter
to
everybody. What I meant to say was WrestleMania in the past 10 years has sucked a chocolate bunny. That's what it sucked. It didn't suck a dick. It sucked a chocolate bunny and, perhaps a Marshmallow Pete. But the point is, remember that atrocious, how bad Jimmy was that Dallas WrestleMania? Remember that Dallas WrestleMania?
The 10-hour one, it felt like.
Oh my goodness gracious. And they thought everybody would love Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker or whatever. Like, jeez. I don't know if that was the Dallas one, but I know it was ended with Roman Reigns and nobody was happy.
The Dallas one was also when The Rock and I think Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, got involved. Do you remember that?
Where he had a match with Rowan, technically?
Yeah, if you want to call it a match, right? But yeah, that was the Dallas one. But I remember particularly about that particular WrestleMania. It ended like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. my time. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? Like, how long is this shit going for? You know what I mean? And I remember, if my memory serves me correct, people were falling asleep in the stadium, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is nuts.
When you compare it to that, basically every Roman Reigns main evented WrestleMania has been atrocious. Let's put it that way.
During that time, especially.
To give people no offense, it's not Roman's fault, but I'm just saying, like, to put a context and a time perspective of like how long WrestleMania has been sucking it, the chocolate bunnies, it's like it's been a while. But I don't remember. I mean, I remember people complaining about it then, but not to the degree that they are now, and especially not when it's clearly much smoother of a production. It just goes to show you that when people get in a groove, they'll just keep doing the same thing. And if that's bitching, it's bitching. They won't even have the perspective to realize when things have improved. Because like I said, the content of the show, like what I'm actually watching, and if you were watching the watch along with us, you heard me picking little things apart here or there, and like pointing out ideas or things that could have improved it or what they messed up or what they did, right. But like, I don't have to enjoy the content of it to still say that overall they did a good job. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's a difference between, thinking something's good and liking it. You can always like things or you can always say something's good and be like, but that's not for me,
Right.
Whether it's
absolutely.
Yeah. So, for example, there's good singers out there that I don't want to listen to, right? Like they're good. I just don't want to hear them, it's nothing, so you can be that objective about it. That's a long-winded answer of just saying like, I thought the presentation of the show was pretty good.
Damn, did I scratch myself? I just noticed I got a scratch on my forehead somehow. What the hell, man?
Trying to get color?
I must have, I told you, I woke up in a sort of, I don't know what happened in my sleep, but I just noticed that now, which is a pretty bad one, dude. How the hell anyway, that happens, I guess. Well, not really. It's never happened, but it has now. But what was I going to say? Yeah, look, like I said, man, I didn't hate the event like most people did. It was an easy watch, like you said. I didn't have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I gave it a 4 out of 5 face slaps, out of 5. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got pretty much every match prediction right, except for whatever reason, I went with Charlotte instead of Tiffany. But every other match, I got everything right. Zane saying D beat up Jimmy again. I don't know. Maybe she did, trying to wake me up. Who knows? But I don't know how I did that. I can't explain. I got a scratch on my forehead. Do you see that? Yeah. Psh, I don't know. Have no idea. But yeah, I guess I scratched myself somehow. But anyway,
I guess we're not really an authentic AEW podcast because the camera didn't catch it.
Hey, it is called the Wreckage after all. I was sifting through trying to get to my computer and then bang, this happened. But but I really don't understand how and why. I just noticed it literally as I looked at myself in the camera. But well, it's bad, isn't it? Yeah. I know, neither did I. I don't know what happened, but yeah, thanks, D. Anyway. All righty. Thank you. But anyway, Vet, I guess it's time to get through the news, man. And what matters is that you kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it. And we'll see what happens tonight for night 2. Are you jumping on the watch along again with Brandon?
I might. It just depends how things go.
Brandon jumped on with us too. We were meant to have Scotty as well, Scotty Woodford. And unfortunately, his internet was so bad as he got out of the stadium that, we couldn't really communicate. So I'm like, just hit me up when you get back. The poor guy was trying to get an Uber back to his hotel. I kid you not, we finished the show and I get a text message from him saying, man, I'm still trying to find an Uber. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine trying to rely on that on a night like that.
Yeah, poor bloke, man. I'm sure he's got him back by now. But yeah, he's having fun, man. Yeah, dude, I don't know how he done it, to be honest, man. But he went everywhere, to the dinners, to both nights. I don't know if he went to Stand and Deliver. Did you watch Stand and Deliver, actually, Vet, yet? Or you're going to watch it closer to the next level?
No, I didn't watch it.
Decent show, man. I'll say that much. But anyway, let's get into the news because this was huge, Vet, and it surprised me, actually, as I got up early to watch WrestleMania. But Triple R is WWE's now, which is bizarre and crazy because WWE now have bought up Triple R, which worries me, actually, Vet, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But what do you think about that acquisition? Because the way I found out, I saw Vikingo in the crowd, and they're talking about him like they signed him. I'm thinking, what the fuck? What have I missed? But then I saw what I really missed because I didn't watch the pre-show that would be acquired Triple R. Now, does this change the whole landscape of professional wrestling, especially south of the border? But more importantly, should we be worried about professional wrestling around the world?
The answer to the first part is I don't know. The answer to the second part is probably not.
Really?
I don't understand the move, but I don't know if anybody does besides the parties involved. Because the point I made during the watch along was WWE is in such a position right now that anything they want to do, they can do. As far as, like, for example, let's say they're interested in some AAA talent, right? Or they want to work with AAA the way they're working with TNA.
Right.
So all you got to do is say, hey, look, we want to run a program down there with Chad Gable where he does the Americano thing.
That's going to be bad.
Get some heat, get some guys over, let's do that. And whatever the WWE wants to do, AAA would do. They don't need to buy AAA to make those things happen. So I wonder what the ownership aspect of it has to do with it. Also, if you notice, it's not saying did they not say that it's WWE acquires, not TKO acquires?
No, they said WWE acquires, which is bizarre in itself.
Right.
What does that even mean? So
this is like, if we're looking at the corporate shell game here, the lower shells is making the acquisition, at least publicly, that's what they're saying. So maybe the paperwork will say something different, but yeah, I found that to be kind of interesting as far as whatever. The only thing I can think of is it's got to be, it has to be a situation where AAA is in a position where they're so far behind CMLL, they can't financially make any moves. Like no one will invest, like no one's willing to invest in AAA to get them to that next thing where they could overtake CMLL as the prominent wrestling promotion in the country. And if that's something that they want to do, then they may have like worked out a deal with WWE. I don't know who reached out to who or why or what, but I can see that being the main motivation for anybody, because I don't see why the WWE gains that much from owning it. I don't. Because like I said, they could just ask like, hey, we want to use Vikingo, and they'll give them Vikingo. They don't need to sign Vikingo. They don't need to buy AAA. They just say what they want, and AAA will any wrestling promotion that's not AEW, and maybe even AEW, if the offer's right, would do it. They could if WWE said, hey, we want to borrow Will Hobbs, I'm sure Tony Khan would make a deal. Whatever the case,
imagine that.
WWE has got that much stroke right now. They run everything. So, and
it's true.
It's basically like they're being nice right now, and they can always play the card of like, don't make us not be nice. Just do what we want, right?
Well,
don't you
exactly.
feel like that? Like it's the smiling in your face, shaking hands, and like, but don't,
the condescending smile too.
But don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Like 100%. That kind of a thing. So I'm just puzzled. I'm just puzzled as to the why the need to acquire. But do I think it's gonna adversely affect the wrestling business? I don't have any reason to believe that right now, because the WWE has been making positive steps.
Right.
Yeah, ever since the old man's been ousted. So I don't see any bad faith moves yet. So I don't really see why they would need to, upset the tortilla card.
Status quo.
I was going to say tortilla card, but
well,
if you want to be a little less, racial about it, fine.
I was going to say that, but you said it. Thank you. But, look, the only thing that worries me, and it's funny because I was talking to Jago after we did the WrestleMania review show, and we were talking about this, and he goes, what worries me the most, and he sent me a picture of The Rock. I'm sure you saw this picture floating around social media over the week, where he posted himself wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt and with a Rubik's cube in front of him, and him going, that's a little, it worries me, dude, because I know the way Japan thinks, right? Technically, they've got that much pride that there's no way they're going to sell their soul to WWE, because they'll just fuck the whole landscape up in Japan big time. Let's be honest, right? But that picture in itself worries me a lot, especially after the AAA acquisition. Now I feel like they're looking at New Japan Pro Wrestling, and if they do end up getting them, oh boy, it's going to be, I don't know, man. She's going to hit the fan in Japan, that's for sure. I didn't mean it to rhyme, but that's a good pay-per-view name for the future. But
but at this point, why would it? Why would that be?
Why would it be bad?
Yeah, because they're fucked.
I know. That's what worries me, dude. It worries me. Well, you're right.
Think about it.
I mean,
New Japan is owned by like a toy company or whatever bullshit, right? What do they know about running a wrestling company? What does anybody know about running a business like that's not their business, right? I mean, even if WWE did a bad job, I still feel like they would do a better job. But I'm not suggesting that they should purchase, or that they will purchase, or that they would even invest in it, because again, they don't need to. And again, they would just rather build a working relationship rather than acquire. I don't see them feeling the need to acquire. They've been working with Noah on the other hand, so like
that's true.
But then there's also, in Japan, business is so bad that all the companies have united.
That's right. And they do this every time.
They have an NWA of Japan type situation there, where they all, work together because everybody's doing bad. So,
true.
I don't know, but I don't really, I don't know. I don't know what The Rock is doing, but The Rock does a lot of stupid things that don't make sense. So I don't really put too much thought into his social media posts.
Well, honestly, I thought I saw it like during the week all over social media, and I actually thought it was a AI picture. I didn't actually think it was real until Jago told me. He goes, no, this was posted on his Instagram by him. I'm like, oh shit. So it is legit. And that got me thinking, man, and just don't be surprised if they make that sort of move. The Rock doesn't just post himself wearing a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt and a Rubik's Cube in front of him thinking the next move, basically, and all the pieces falling into place for nothing. So that worries me, but we'll see what happens there. It is exciting and weird at the same time. How do you feel about Naito and Bushi parting ways with New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Well, they left, right? Not retired.
Well, there was a mutual agreement on both ends to go separate ways.
But I'm just saying it wasn't a retirement.
No. They're not retired. I don't know where they're going from this point, but yeah. No, not retirement as far as I know.
Yeah, Naito's been washed for a while, so I don't know if, I don't know what he plans to do, but that's bad for the company because he was still over.
Sure is.
And Bushi, is just, he's a career job guy, but he's like cool. He's cool, man. You could bring Bushi into any promotion and make a star out of him because
absolutely.
Of his style. He's
I love Bushi, man.
And he can basically work with anybody and do anything that you need. And he's going to show up dressed to the nines to do it, and it's going to look
absolutely.
Cool.
I hope
the best dressed pro wrestler of maybe of all time.
Oh, I agree, man. You know what? He's so underrated. I don't care if anyone calls me a marktard. I don't know why he's like a job guy. He could potentially be the best luchador in all of wrestling. And I say luchador because his look is pretty much based off a Mexican luchador with a Japanese twist on it. And I think if that would be acquired him, he'd be great if they actually allowed him to do his thing. Since they like bringing in all sorts of Mexican luchadors right now, why not bring in Bushi? Heck, why not even bring in Naito? Because I think he could be a star in WWE if Triple H, for example, lets him be him. I know he can't speak English for shit, and I get it. And these days, a lot of the Japanese wrestlers get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately. But he could be cool. It would be cool to see him in WWE for one last run, man.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it would go the way you hope it would.
I know. That's the sad part.
10 years ago,
I know that.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
And
he can't even move.
10 years ago, logistically, it wouldn't have happened. But even if he was just 10 years younger today, I just don't think it fits anymore. You would have to bring, because the whole idea is like it's a spin-off of a spin-off. So if you're not going to bring that whole thing in the way it is and make it work, I don't think he can carry it on his own. But
Andrade is there. I mean, we could get Los Ingobernables de WWE in WWE. Guys. Well, yeah, if you bring in Bushi too, 3 guys, you know what I mean, at least.
Yeah, and then it would just be like bring in those 3 guys, and it'd be like having the club. Remember the club?
Yeah, true. But they'll say, how do you say the club in Spanish? Probably the club. They'll probably call it something Spanish related. But anyway, I don't know, man. But good luck to both of those guys because they will be missed. And all it does is make New Japan even more like not wanting to watch it. Like it becomes less watchable, dude. Especially with those guys because, in some ways, I know really, Tanahashi is the heart and soul of New Japan. But Naito is also like the heart of New Japan. And now without him, no Okada and all sorts of guys, they're just screwed, dude. It's sad to see, man. But also what's even worse, how would you feel if you were AEW in this case? With WWE circling, it feels like the Sharks are starting to circle, dude, around AEW. I'm not saying that they're going to try to buy him, but I feel like they're trying to fuck him up as much as possible, dude.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, true. That's what I said, revamped. I said club in Spanish is club. Duh. I said that, revamped, just quietly. Anyway, what else is going on in the world of professional wrestling? Apparently, Bayley has been pulled out of WrestleMania. I'm sure you know that. You probably saw something about that. But apparently, that's a work. So cool. And what do you think of Mariah May and apparently her wanting to leave AEW. Do you buy that, or do you think it's just all rumors and innuendos?
Yeah, I don't think about that kind of stuff. The only reason I even talked about it at all is because Ray brought it up on Wednesday.
Right, yeah, I saw
I
that.
Talked about it then, but I don't know, man. Her business is her own, so until we actually see something, I'm not really that interested in commenting on rumors.
Fair enough. And before, I want to ask you one more thing, because there really isn't much news. It's all WrestleMania related. There's no point really getting into that. But what I was going to ask you, did you watch the Hall of Fame by any chance?
Mm-mm.
The Triple H speech, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, was the best speech I've probably seen in all of the Hall of Fame. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The package for him was absolutely hit out of the park, man. But what made me laugh the most was his stories about the clique, but also about his kids. They were hilarious, man, especially about his young daughter. How the minute he mentioned her name, everyone just started laughing. So she must be like a cheeky girl. But he goes, she's 14 going on to 40 and already had 2 divorces. That's what type of chick she. It was pretty funny, man. You should check it out just for that alone. It was friggin' hilarious, man. He did bring up Vince also. He did say he loves him, and he did say he is the grandfather of my children. Whether you like it or not, that's the deal. You know what I mean? It's complicated, he said, but I love him. He is the grandfather to my children. It was nice of him to say that, I guess. But it was a long one, dude. 5 fucking hours, man. I watched the whole thing, and I went straight to sleep. Hall of Fame, 5 hours, bro.
How was WrestleMania 3.5?
I have the joke was, because you know how NXT was in early morning at 10 a.m., whatever it was in the US. Well, get this, dude. Not only was everyone falling asleep in the crowd, you see Booker T falling asleep. You see all sorts of guys and girls falling asleep. Shawn Michaels apparently fell asleep in the back as well, and apparently was annoyed, according to Triple H, because, man, by the time they finished, practically they had to get ready for NXT, man. You know what I mean? Which is pretty bad, man. So, yeah, crazy, bro. Crazy. But it was good. It was good for what it was. Mainly the Triple H part. So I suggest you go to your way to check that out. It was pretty cool. It is on YouTube as well. I don't know about you. For you, it'd probably be on Peacock. But for international viewers, it was live on YouTube. So, yeah. But it was long, man. And WrestleMania wasn't, which is a good thing. You know what, Vet? I think it's time we can sift through the wreckage, man, because everything else is not really worthy, man.
Well, if you say
honestly.
So.
Yeah.
You know what they could? I just had a thought.
What's that?
What would be wrong with this?
What?
You know how, like, when we're leading up to WrestleMania, they announce the inductions?
Yep.
You know, they'll be like, oh, so-and-so is going into the, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be wrong with every time you announce the induction, you do, like, their induction on that show, like that episode of Raw or SmackDown or whatever. That way,
it's a good idea. I like that.
You wouldn't have to. You would get like little bits leading up to WrestleMania, and then at WrestleMania, you know, they could do the thing where they all come out and wave and everything like that. But then you don't have to. But then you could take a chunk of your show for the speeches and stuff, but it'll just be that one speech.
I actually like that.
It would only go so long, but like even if it was 30 minutes, it's like, well, you still got 2.5 hours, 2 hours extra of the show that you can do, as long as you have, like, you know, a bonus Hall of Fame thing during the thing.
That's a great idea, man. Actually, I thought of you when I was watching the Hall of Fame. I think it was Shawn Michaels that was mentioning how Triple H is good at doing the little things, right? And straight away, I thought of you. And this is exactly a great example of why I thought of you even more, because, again, I wouldn't have thought of that. But it's little things like that, like you mentioned, that would make such a great difference, and I think that would be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely, like they should do that if everyone's going to fall asleep and go for 5 hours, but I don't think they'll think that far, unfortunately. Hopefully someone's listening to this, and maybe you could do that, but why not? And like Cold Blooded said, they could have at least handed out free caffeine pills or something to perk up the event. Oh, man. No one expected to be. They started at 1 a.m. Eastern, which is just crazy, man. It is what it is. But anyway, let's get
the... Man, they do it to themselves by booking all this extra stuff that they didn't used to do.
Yeah, you know what my highlight was? Did you notice on Mania, you know when they announced the Hall of Fame inductions and who was in it, right? You know, they had all the Hall of Famers out. Did you notice how dirty Austin looked?
Well, I know RBV was commenting on it.
Well, he was still in the same clothes from the Hall of Fame. Funny guy. And at the Hall of Fame, he had beer all over him, dude. Like, you could see it. But you could see the damn stains on him during the induction part, or when they announced him during Mania. I'm like, oh, Austin, you must have been having a bender, literally, until Mania started. But good on him, man, whatever. At least change clothes because he would have stunk, but it is what it is. Undertaker, though, was a complete idiot on the show. He goes, oh, I'm just going to be Mark Calloway, right? He goes, A-Mark. I'm A-Mark now. I'm like, what the fuck? He called himself a Mark, dude, but whatever. It is what it is. I guess he is a Mark now. So, yeah, everyone was drunk, dude. Yeah, that's another thing you got to see. Everyone was wasted, dude. They were doing the red carpet thing, and they were making a fool of themselves to the point where even Jackie Redmond and Brian Saxon were like, this is weird, mate. It's PG. We should just move along these guys. But it was funny, man. It was good to see. But anyway, that was my take of that. Let's get into some AEW, which feels weird after all these WWE
Let's go
talk.
To a professional organization. We don't need all these drunk people running around, spilling stuff all over their clothes and whatnot.
100%.
Let's go. All right.
Let's hit it.
Well, you know what we have making a grand return, Jimmy?
What's that?
The themed Dynamites. It's Spring Breakthrough, Jimmy, your favorite.
Yeah, I know.
You know how you like every this time of year you like that Spring Breakthrough episode of Dynamite? It's usually the best one, right?
Wasn't it Collision that they did that with, not Dynamite?
Well, it's both. It's both.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess, but still, man. Yeah, I hate it. Stop doing it, for crying out loud. It makes no difference, TK. And did you see him actually post-show, the way he was thanking everyone? Thank you, everybody. Screaming with all his lung, you know. Yeah. Like, why does he scream for when he's like on the mic? I don't get it.
Yeah, he just doesn't understand. That's fine.
Anyway,
yeah, let's continue. This is the thing about Tony. Like, he's not a normal person, of course. It's you know, but bless his heart, you know. He's trying his best. He just doesn't know how to be. He doesn't have, and how could he? He just doesn't have like a social a social awareness, you know. Like he doesn't know how to treat people, like in terms of you know, reading a room, or you know, he just doesn't have like that intuition, or
oh my god,
yeah, he doesn't have an internal limiter. He's just an awkward guy, you know.
Just an awkward guy, but a guy no less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's with the horsey little
like that,
stomps?
but they just normally aren't put out in front of everybody like that, or put themselves out in front of people. They prefer to let other people go out in front, but he wants to do it for whatever reason. But
why does he stomp like a horse too while he's screaming on the mic? Like, thank you, everybody. Like, calm down.
He's into it, you know. What can you say?
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Speaking of into it, man, do we kick off this Dynamite? It is the CEO versus the Fallen Goddess.
Oh, I don't like this.
Before anything happens, holy shit chant.
The Marktards were having a ball with this one.
All right, well, why don't you have a ball with it, Jimmy? Tell me what you thought.
Well, it was a great match. Don't get me wrong. This was great. It was a holy shit moment, I guess, for the AEW Marktards, or the Seekers, should I say. What disappoints me is the result, Vet. That's what disappoints me. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Even, heck, the brackets, having these two come up at this point of the brackets, Athena should have been on the other side, man. It would have been more exciting if Athena and Moné met in the finals, say. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. We got on a plain old Dynamite, not on pay-per-view, not for money, but for free, which is, again, annoying. But it was a great match, man. I just didn't like how Athena lost.
Yeah.
How'd you feel?
I don't know what they end up wanting to do with this tournament, so I'd have to go and work backwards from when it's over at All In. I'll have to look and see what happens at All In and then decide how I feel about this decision, because personally, it's not what I would have done.
Me too.
But again, if we would have done what I wanted to do, I don't know where I'm going to go with the rest of the tournament either. So I would have to book out a tournament, and I don't feel like doing that. So if we're just talking about who should have won this and how, I definitely would have just had Athena destroy Mercedes and leave her laying.
Wouldn't that be cool, man?
Yeah. Like a shocker, kind of like the Goldberg Lesnar thing or the Lesnar Cena thing, something like that. But
no.
But
we don't. I wonder what
we did get a good match, and we did, all the way up till the end, we had no idea what was going to happen, which I guess that's the best thing we can ask for in wrestling these days, because a lot of the shit is just so damn predictable, especially in AEW.
Yeah, and I couldn't predict this initially. I couldn't make my mind up on who was going to win, you know what I mean, the whole tournament. So I guess it's easy now to see who's going to win this damn thing on the female side of things. But it is what it is, and I get it. I mean, Tony's in love with friggin' Moné. It is what it is. But hopefully Athena bounces back from this, and she should be part of this, man. If I was them, somehow get Athena involved at All in Texas in this title match picture. I wanted to somehow get her way in somehow. I don't know how, but do something, because it would be a spectacle if we had all three women, say, in that match. Imagine Tony versus Athena versus Moné in a triple threat match for the belt, all the belts on the line, all the stakes, everything. The stakes are high. Man, that's a freaking cool, right? All-in match. Yeah. Every belt, dude. Oops,
like
sorry about that.
It says every belt Moné.
I don't want that to happen though, Cold-Blooded. But heck, raise the stakes, man. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully TK thinks that far ahead. I doubt it.
Have some balls,
Have some balls, right? Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, maybe he just either he didn't think of it, or he's worried about what people would say if he did it. But don't if it's the second one, don't worry about that. They're already saying way worse stuff. So
yeah, that's an understatement.
The only thing I would note on this match, because I did enjoy the match, there was a couple of things, but I'm not gonna fault them because they worked hard. But the one thing I would say was there's a spot where Mercedes had the crossface on the floor and she was holding it. Oh. And then she let go to get back in. Like, I thought she was going to let go to get back in the ring and work a count. But instead she picked up Athena and rolled her back in the ring. And then
it's dumb.
Yeah.
What was the point?
I thought she was doing something else, and then she ended up not doing that. But what she should have done was she should have put that crossface on, wrenched it, and then left her out there. And then she gets up at 6-ish, and then she's trying to crawl over at 7 and 8 and 9. And then when she gets back in the ring, that's when Moné hits the knees on her. Instead, what she did was she threw Athena in, and then Athena cut her off so so you stop selling the crossface or whatever. So Athena cuts her off, and then Mercedes just ends up reversing it and countering and hitting her with the knees again. So you could have just cut that whole part out and just hit her with the knees as she's trying to get back in off the 10 count. So that's just a psychology thing to make your match better. Ladies, take that and do with it what you will. It's free advice. Dude, that, I know Charles is saying, and good morning, Charles, and happy Easter. But I know Charles said Athena and Naomi are the same, but sir,
no, come on.
Let me tell you something Naomi would never do.
No.
Let me tell you something Naomi never would or could do. Did you remember the spot where she did the Dick Togo power slam on the apron?
Yeah, that was bad, dude.
Oh my
God. That was bad. Jesus Christ.
That was something, man. I've never seen that in my life before.
No. That was crazy, man.
So, yeah. But anyway, So anyway, for anybody that was wondering, Mercedes counters the O-face and rolls up Athena. So, out-wrestled. Athena out-wrestled by Moné, I guess. You kind of have two heels here. So the way you do it is a toss-up, but I don't know. I think there's more interesting ways that they could have gone about even getting this result. They could have done it a little bit more interesting than this.
More controversial even I would have been happy with. So then there's an in for Athena in the future possibly. But they didn't even do that.
Right. Yeah. She even like the way she pinned Athena, there wasn't even like a way to like hook her tights or hold the ropes or anything.
Nothing.
She just,
straight up 1, 2, 3. And it's stupid. They should have done something slightly controversial again for Athena to make her way into this future match. But for whatever reason, they didn't go that way. And it sucks for Athena because someone needs to beat Moné at this point. She's been winning way too long. Get that first loss over with just to so we can move on from this crap. But they continue to go with her for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it would have been good here just because, like you said, it's another heel. So you're still saving some of the heat that Moné's getting. You're saving that for a babyface that eventually beats her for the title.
Exactly.
But you can still beat her here in this tournament without her losing the heat, right? Because it's another heel that's beating her. So
exactly.
Well, what do we know? Anyways, Tony's in the stands. Timeless Tony Storm's in the stands. She's looking on here. Perhaps she's looking at her future opponent. Who knows?
More than likely.
All right. So we go from that to complete disappointment. Renee is with Hang Person. And then the Bucks come in and they say, see, Hangman, we're your friends still. We care about our friends, yada, yada, yada. Okada's there. He's like, he tells,
why you're always angry.
Yeah. He tells Hangman, smile, bitch. Obviously great.
Oh man, do you think we're gonna move into a match possibly with Hang Person and Okada?
Yeah, I don't want to see that because
neither do I, but
yeah, because they'll just no. Hey, you remember Tuukka Rask, right?
Tuukka Rask, not really.
Oh, well, apparently 14 years ago, he and the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup, and he's out here reminding everybody of that.
Okay, no, I don't remember even. I don't mind hockey, funny enough. I know most of the legendary players, but I'm not into it like I'm religiously into it. But I don't mind it. Now that I think about it, the name does sound familiar though.
Really? All right. Well, anyway, speaking of familiar, Hang Person has a wild card coming.
Does he always not have a wild card, dude? Or am I tripping?
They did mention about last year him getting a wild card.
Why is he always the one that gets a freebie, man?
I don't know. Oh, he's not getting a freebie tonight. He's got to
not tonight.
He's got to earn his win tonight if he can get one, because he's facing none other than the walking weapon.
Yeah.
Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander. He's such a dork, bro. I mean, I thought of him as a dork already in TNA, but I don't know what it is. But in AEW, he looked even more dorkish, even though he looks the same. Is it just me? I don't know, dude.
Yeah, he looked the same to me. I don't know if it was more or less, but yeah.
Is he a good acquisition for you, in your opinion? I don't think AEW is going to do that much with him in the future.
No, I don't think he changes anything really.
He's
just another hand, If you
just
need something
exactly
from
another
him,
hand.
They'll give it to you, but not gonna.
I like Lab Bunny.
I
I didn't realize he's called Lab Bunny. What's with the Lab Bunny now, Lab Rat? But he says Mr. Personality himself, Alexander.
Mm-hmm. Well, toward the end of his TNA run, he finally got a personality, but then he was leaving.
Well, too little, too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hopefully, we see
he
a
could try
bit
it
more.
out. He could try it out now, but we haven't gotten to see it yet because nobody's really let him say anything yet. So, anyway, so he has this match with Hang Person. You know, I didn't really pay attention because I've seen enough of these guys over the years to know exactly what they're going to do. And it felt like, from what I did see, they did it. And then Hangman wins with an inside cradle.
What a joke. Why bring this guy in just to lose like this? Why even have him in this match in the first place? Again, I'm not the biggest Josh Alexander fan.
At the start.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like I said, I don't give a shit about him, but you're already killing him the second he comes into the company. Come on, bro. I mean, whatever. I mean,
well,
cool.
Don't worry, Jimmy. Because,
I know later on.
Because afterwards, Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher come out, and then there's a scuffle because, you know, obviously Fletcher would be next in the tournament bracket, right, for Hang Person. So they start scuffling, and then Don whispers something to Josh, and then Josh blindsides Hang Person Page.
I guess he's part of the Callis family, or there's a new name to it, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
They added another Canadian. Canadian
Care factor zero.
Canadian contingent.
The
Lance
Canadian
Storm coming
contingent.
soon?
Oh God, imagine that. Hey, if he was to run the group, I'd be cool with that. You know what I mean? And him doing all the promos for everyone, like, if I could be serious for a minute. I mean, it would pop me. I won't lie.
Well, it's not going to happen because
it's not.
Works
Unfortunately,
at TNA, and they obviously have a working agreement with another company. So
that's true. If that's even happening anymore, it feels like.
Well, it is in TNA's side.
It is.
WWE's not that interested anymore, but at least TNA is using NXT people.
Okay, that's good.
So anyway, next we have the reuniting of the patriarchy because Daddy's home.
Daddy's home.
Yep. And we miss Christian and his promos, right?
Like, I especially the part
where he said, especially the part where he said, and I quote, "When you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and me." No,
That is true.
No, Christian, it's not true. Because when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption. You fucking idiot. The joke doesn't work if there's no letter E in it. You moron. Dumbass.
Oh, God.
Fucking Christian.
Careful, it's Easter. Red.
Sorry. You chocolate bunny.
No.
You Cadbury-filled cream egg.
I like those. I love them, actually. Are you not a fan of those?
I am.
Ah, good. Good man.
Even though they're smaller and weaker than they used to be, but
I haven't had one in quite a while, but I used to love them back in the day, man. So I haven't even seen them for quite a while. Are they smaller, really?
I think so, yeah, man.
Damn.
Just like everything. You know how everything like it either
like Big Macs, for example?
They either just raise the price or they keep it the same price and give you less of it.
It's true. Everything is shrunk. Literally everything.
Right.
Sucks.
So, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, yeah, he's there. And then he gets in Nick Wayne's face because obviously Nick Wayne's tried to be the man of the house while he was away.
Problem child, clearly.
Yeah. And then he gives them the little light face slap, but then he gives them a hard face slap. Yeah, a little slappy, little slapperoo.
I still think Edge and Christian are somehow going to end back together, but you know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. This is the beginning of the end still for the patriarchy.
Right. And because it makes absolutely no sense, that's how we know it'll happen.
That's going to go. I mean, come on. Remember, AEW equals backwards.
Let's see here. Where are we at? Oh. Hey, guess what?
What?
We're going to get Grand Slam Mexico in Arena Mexico. Aren't you excited?
So basically, anytime they go overseas now, other than All In, it's a Grand Slam. So they're like an international tennis sort of tournament, I guess.
Well, baseball too, at least.
Oh yeah, true. Baseball. I mean, whatever. Anything but wrestling. Do you think it'll sell out though?
I don't know. It depends on how well they're able to promote it.
Well, you know they don't have a marketing team, so.
But they can use CMLL to.
That's true, and it'll be a CMLL ring probably even for No, definitely.
And can we let the CML guys go over this time, since they're going to be in the home? It's time to do business, guys. Do the favors. They've done favors for you. You have completely like fumbled everything from Mystico to Hechicero to everybody. You fucked all that up. So definitely it's your turn to pay it back and let some AEW guys do some jobs, and let it be good AEW guys. Don't just send like the guys that don't send like the Gates of Agony or somebody. You know, give them, let them beat somebody real, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, shit. That's the problem with AEW and their working relationships with companies. Look at TNA and them. They just put themselves over. They won every bout in that company pretty much, and they just pissed on them. That's how it felt. I mean, really. That wasn't 50-50, and they continuously do this with every other company. Keep doing that, and we'll see if you have any other relationships in the future, Tony. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do this, but people just can't get over themselves, you know? They think that a phony wrestling match win or loss is the end of the world, but in reality, it's about how you use the television time, right?
Right.
Like when
absolutely.
You know, we were discussing about Joe Hendry. Supposedly TNA shot down the idea of him doing a job to
with the Miz.
Yeah,
right.
And my thing was, why do you need to do any jobs? Why can't you just have him and the Miz on a Miz TV segment where there's no match? I mean, just get over on TV. It doesn't have to be a match. Why does he have to do a job? What does that prove? What does that help? Who does that help? It doesn't matter. So why even suggest it when Joe Hendry and the Miz's strong suit is not wrestling matches?
No, not at all. Actually, their strong suit. Right,
get
exactly.
over that way, right? And you never
That's
have to
their
have
strong
a match.
suit. Absolutely.
Right. So just think about how to use the guys that you have to get them over the best way to do that. It doesn't always have to be about, oh, well, we got to beat him. We got to beat this guy. Like, it doesn't have to be like that.
I agree 100%.
So, anyways, oh, you know who else is here besides that one guy said? What was his name? Tuukka Rask. You know who else is here in Boston? Kristaps Porzingis. You remember him?
Hey, that I know exactly who Kristaps Porzingis is, and he's a great baller. Just quietly, he looked like he was having a laugh actually. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, and I don't know who these people are, but hi everyone. At least when they had Giannis, remember that? Where he was probably the biggest name they'll ever have in their audience. He looked like he was enjoying himself, and they actually brought him to the ring and announced him. If you remember, TK's like, Giannis at the combo. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And at least he was having fun. But Porzingis looked like, what am I doing here for real? Having a laugh like this, just whack.
Well, I don't know. He could be a big Gates of Agony fan because this is their big moment. They get to take on. Remember, last week they got a strong win.
Strong win.
So that means they get
strong win.
Yeah, no TV for several weeks, then strong win, and now you can challenge the Hurt Syndicate.
And you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Strong loss.
Yeah, strong loss. MVP's on commentary. Big, hey, look, let's give it up. Let's give it up to Gates of Agony. They tried. They fought hard. They did not let Bobby Lashley intimidate them. They took the fight to Bobby. They took the fight to Shelton, but damn it, those guys are just too strong and too tough and too wrestly, and they end up coming away with a big win here. And MJF comes out, and he's got some things here. He's got some hoes.
Quite a bit. Yes.
Hoes.
He's just an idiot. Ugh. Do you want me to read out what he said?
No.
Okay.
I can summarize it for you. Basically, what MJF says is, all this can be yours, referring to the hoes. All I need is 3 thumbs up. The cost of these hoes is 3 thumbs. And then what you do with those thumbs with the hose is up to you afterwards.
Yeah,
that's on brilliant. Your guys' private time. So Shelton, he's the guy, because we know Bobby's a no.
Right.
We know MVP's a yes. So Shelton's always like the swing vote. So he's working on Shelton. And he's like, he ends up promising Shelton the hose. Shelton likes the hose. he also likes the watch that MJF has. And MJF agrees, but hey, I just need that thumb from you, pal. And even after all that bartering, Shelton shocks the world with a thumbs down. But you know what? That's not gonna deter MJF. He says, you know what, Shelton? That's fine. You can have the hose. You can even have the watch.
Wow.
I'm growing on you. You know?
I'm growing on you. Not you're growing on me, but I'm growing on you. I like this, dude. I mean, honestly, this is the best thing in AEW every week for me. Like, it's just, it's interesting. It's funny at the same time. But what I like the fact that MJF is trying, like anything, like just to get in. But you know where this is going to lead eventually? He's going to turn on them because they didn't allow him to join that easily. You know what I mean? That's going to be his excuse when he does turn on them. I mean, 100%. There's no ifs or buts about it. That's what's going to suck. But for now, it's funny and entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like it belongs on a different show. That's how different.
I know, weird, right? Could we get the Godfather somehow involved in this? Real hose?
I don't know. I don't know about that. You're asking. If you want the Godfather, I'm gonna need a thumb from you, Jimmy.
Hey, thumbs up from me.
All right. So anyway, after this, we go to break, but then when we come back, Alicia is waiting. She's trying to get a word with the Hurt Syndicate again.
Of course.
It's funny how the only time they ever use her is in something where her boyfriend's involved.
I know.
But anyways, yeah. So she's trying to get a word with the Hurt Syndicate or somebody, and she gets dismissed again so that they can have another meeting in front of the world on the camera.
Oh God.
So all she has to do is just leave and then go to a monitor, and she could see everything anyway. So there's really no point in her leaving. But whatever. MVP starts working on Bobby. You know, he's like, hey, you know, come on, MJF. He can, you know, whatever. He's trying to sell. He's trying to sell Bobby on it. Shelton may be most of the way there. Shelton might be about 85, 90% there. But Bobby is the one that he's really got to sell on the idea. So,
what's it going to take, you think, eventually to win him over?
I don't know. I don't know. But they'll probably do something where he, like, takes a metaphorical bullet for Bobby, you know? Like in some match or something. Like he'll come out and take a shot from somebody or whatever, and you know, whatever.
And then we can play hero.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. So, you know, I'm trying to think of the way these corny, you know, like the way Tony would think, like, you know, the way he thinks of storytelling, like, but
storytelling, inverted commas.
Yeah. But now we just now we get to another marquee match. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita tournament match. To be fair, even though I don't care about this like at all, like I'm so tired of these move doers. These guys are just doing moves. Like there's nothing to it really. It hurts and it's hard, but I'm just bored. Like I get that they're working hard, but damn it, it just doesn't appeal to me. But to be fair, as a professor would say, to be fair.
Yeah.
They also got a holy shit chant. So
and fight forever chants.
Yep, they got lots of chants. The people definitely into it. So it doesn't really matter what I think as far as that goes. The people were into it. I was eating my lunch, but it sounded like they were into it.
They were.
I was concentrating on my lunch, but from what I could hear in my earbuds, the people definitely sound like they were into it. It also sounded like Will Ospreay won with a Stormbreaker, and he'll move on in the tournament.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, not only do the fans love it, but Shivani was absolutely saying it was absolutely amazing, the match, and also Excalibur to end it saying it was unbelievable. And yeah, as you said, Will Ospreay does move on, and of course will win the tournament to go on to All In Texas. Yeah. But yeah, there goes Takeshita. Is Takeshita in the shit books now out of nowhere? Because it feels like he's starting to lose matches, man.
Nah, he only loses to Will Ospreay, really.
Fair enough.
No, he's still like the He's still like the New Japan open weight champion, the never open weight champion, isn't he?
He is? I'm not
Think
sure.
so. Yeah, he hasn't given up that belt either. So
well, it's not like he brings it out with him.
Right, which is what's the point, right? So I don't know. That's another one of those weird, annoying things. Like,
does it mean anything to him?
We'll talk about that later because I got another point to make about that later. But it doesn't make sense to try to make the point now. So we'll wait.
Fair enough.
The main event here was the advertised Death Riders versus. Well, it was supposed to be the Ops, but it's actually going to be the Hops because. Filling in for Hook is Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, last week we talked about Hook puking. I didn't see it at the time, but it looks like I wasn't the only one because I heard that other people that watched the show initially, and I'm thinking primarily of Cornette and Brian because on their show they said they didn't see it when they were watching TV because they weren't looking for it. So I didn't feel as bad for missing it because they didn't see it either. And, you know, it's clear when you go back and see somebody like capturing it and showing the footage of it. But so,
well, that's how I saw it. I saw it back to front. I saw everyone posting it. And then when I watched it, I was looking up for it. So that's the reason why I noticed it.
And so that happens. And then we're like, okay, well, you obviously must have got his bell rung somewhere in there because he got fucked up. Right. And then of course people come out immediately and say it was not a concussion. We don't know what it was. Yet here a week later, he's supposed to be in a match and they don't say why he's not in the match, but they say it's a physical issue. Okay. So basically again, you're doing that shady thing where you're just trying not to be honest because you're afraid that somebody's going to give you bad press. But I also feel like when you hide information like that, clearly that's worse than just admitting it because everybody's just going to assume it anyway. And now they're assuming it and you're lying about it. So it's just bad. It reminds me of the steroid thing in baseball back in, when they were taking everybody to trial.
Mark McGuire, you're talking about Sammy Sosa those days?
Rafael Palmeiro's out there like, I did not do it. 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 And they were like, it says here you did it. And he's like, all right, I did it. Just don't put yourself in that position, right? Just don't.
Right. 100%,
anyways,
man.
But yeah, so clearly it must have been something bad because if he just got sick, like he ate some bad clams that day and threw up in the ring, he would be okay by the next time he had to wrestle.
100%.
This isn't that. So clearly he got concussed. So fuck you guys. Anyways, and whoever concussed Hook, fuck you. I still don't know where it happened, but fuck.
It's hard to see where it happened. It's true, but he had it. He vomited twice, man.
But anyway, we get Hobbs. And this is a match. It's a trios match. It's got Jon Moxley filling in for Pac, who broke his foot,
from Dynasty, wasn't it? Or was it Dynamite?
No, it was the Swerve match on the last Dynamite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember if it was the pay-per-view or Dynamite. But yeah, from the buckle bomb.
Yeah. Buckle bombed him, landed on his foot. I was making a point during WrestleMania too, because we were talking about the guys in the triple threat main event and how RBV was asking me about their wrestling boots because all those guys wear shoes. And
I've noticed that too.
Even if you do wear shoes, I would hope and suggest that guys would at least tape up their feet and ankles or have the ankle support underneath their shoes because it's really dangerous the way the ring is. The ring is, it's got like a foam rubber pad on the top of it, on the top of the wood. And the canvas is stretched in there. And you guys know, like canvas kind of like, it's kind of like it doesn't skid, canvas.
It doesn't it cut you up, give you dry burns sort of canvas?
It does. But like when you're talking about your shoes and stuff, like they won't slip on it. So if you're running on a pad that's got a non-skid surface on it, there's more potential because it's uneven flooring. There's more potential for like slips and rolling your ankle, like as far as like you catch your foot on something. Like you've seen guys in the past. I think somebody, who was it? Was it RVD? Somebody fucked themselves up doing a baseball slide because
it was RVD. It was RVD. I remember. Yeah.
shit like that, right?
And he broke his leg or his tibia or something like that from it.
Right. So the point is, if you're walking on uneven surfacing like that, it helps to have wrestling boots with ankle support. But if you don't wear boots, then you should tape up your ankles for support. Maybe Pac didn't do that. Hopefully, like guys can, guys that wear the wrestling shoes with the kick pads on, I would definitely recommend supporting your ankles with other means.
Yeah, because I've noticed now a lot of wrestlers are moving towards the sneakers, man, with kick pads than actual boots.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, so.
Right, and Roman's wearing some like weird custom Jordans or something. Like I don't know what that's about, but
he's signed with. He's actually part of Nike, so they could be his actual Jordans for
Mm-hmm. So so basically, yeah. So that I would say, I don't know if that had anything, if that would have helped Pac out or not. But let's get back to the match. So this shows you, when we talk about Jon Moxley, like I know it's a thing to talk about how shits Jon Moxley is, right? But a lot of people just say that he sucks without like explaining something.
No
but
substance, right?
I'll give you a perfect example of like why this guy's a moron, right? He's in a 6-man tag, right? Now, first of all, I just thought of this right now. First of all, if you're in a 6-man tag and you're the Death Riders, why do you care about following the rules? Why don't you just get DQ'd immediately and keep the titles, get out of there? Like, why are you even trying to have a match? Right?
Logic.
Doesn't make no sense. But anyway, forget that. So the match goes on for several minutes, right?
Oh, boy. Then
Jon Moxley is on the apron. He makes a legal tag, right? He makes a legal tag. I just want to make sure everybody's following me. Jon Moxley's on the apron. He tags in. He's the legal man.
Correct.
He goes to the floor and gets a chair and tries to bring it in the ring. So let me follow the rules. Let me follow the rules and tag in. Okay, now let me go break the rules and get a chair right in front of the ref, and I'm just going to... Cold-blooded? Now, Cold-Blood is following the rules right now. He's breaking the rules of his own name. He's not cold.
Oh shit, he's not cold.
He's warm AF.
He's warm AF, all right. Absolutely.
So much.
Cold-blooded. He's gone on warm once again with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Cold-Blooded Man. You're the man as per usual. We appreciate you, my man.
All right. So anyway, the dumbass tries to bring a chair in. But he doesn't even get that far because Willow takes it away. Willow Nightingale appears, takes the chair away from Jon Moxley. How dare you DDT me? I'll take the chair from you. The Young Bucks come in and try to get involved because remember, they want to be on Jon Moxley's good side. Right. Swerve comes out
and grabs the chair from them.
He stomps both of them. Double stomp on the Bucks. Marina tries to hit Hobbs with that chair from before. He doesn't really sell it, but Willow comes and takes out Marina. And then Jon Moxley's still legal, remember, the dumbass who legally tagged himself in. Whatever. Now Joe gets a hold of him, snatches him up in the coquina clutch. Jon Moxley gets choked out. We have new Trios champions. It's the Hobbs. Huge.
It's the Hobbs. So exactly, which is a breath of fresh air. I like that, except the way you described all that, right? The way you put it, it really sounded like musical chairs because it passed the chair around. But still, nevertheless, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs are your new Trios champions. I guess Hook would be smiling.
The whole yes, from in heaven, because he died. He died of a concussion last week. So they win, and the whole locker room comes out to celebrate. They celebrate the big win over the group that they severely outnumbered the entire time.
The entire time, and they
like when you see this many people in the ring, you're like, wait, how did the Death Riders scare everybody for so long? We had this many people outnumbering them, like.
Jeez.
Like, obviously, they all have a personal investment because they're celebrating the Death Riders losing a meaningless championship. But, you know, you could have kicked the shit out of them at any point if you had like 30 people. Why didn't you kick the shit out of them?
Right. And at least when the NWO was running, you know, roughshod back in the day, they had 1 million members. You know what I mean?
I mean, they were still severely outnumbered, but
right. But still,
they weren't going to they just weren't going to, you know, like Kevin Nash wasn't going to sell for Hard Body Harrison or whatever, you know. So.
No, not at all. But still, I don't understand these backwards shit and why they're having partikis over friggin'. It felt like, you know, when Bret Hart won the championship at WrestleMania 10.
Oh yeah.
It almost felt like that. At least then, though, it was him winning the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Over here, we got the damn trios belts that no one cares about.
Right. And Yokozuna did not try to take over the entire federation.
Exactly.
He was just a wrestler. He was just one wrestler wrestling.
Fucking hell. Fucking ugh.
So I just wish they would think about something like that, especially because if I'm looking forward to All In, I'm thinking that moment works for Will Ospreay because the big deal is Moxley holding the championship hostage. The Trios Championship, not really that big of a deal, really.
No, it's not. But they make it seem like
they're celebrating Moxley losing in any form, maybe that. But I still don't.
Well, yeah, it's probably that, to be honest.
But it still looks bad though when you see the optics of like, look at all these people out here, and if you have this many, if you have basically an army here, and you're afraid of 5 people.
Again, this is the company that loves backwards shit. I mean, how else do you put it? They're backwards.
Well, hey. All right, let's collide. Let's collide with Collision here.
Spring breakthrough. Start colliding?
Yep. So this is the next night, technically.
Yeah.
And Nigel and Tony pick up right away with a recap of Dynamite. And then the Death Riders come out and they start tearing shit up because they're mad about losing. Jon Moxley threatens the Young Bucks. He says, like, you know, don't you ever fucking show up your face here ever again or I'll kill you. And then he challenges Samoa Joe to a match.
Cool. But on paper, it is cool. I mean, come on. I mean, honestly. But, yeah, fuck the Bucks. Fuck Moxley and his crew, the Death Riders or the Dick Riders, whatever you want to call them. I love that name. Yeah, this is just meh all the way around, except for the match. I mean, shit, Moxley's even getting a lot of play in WWE right now, have you noticed?
Mm-hmm. Just a little.
You noticed?
Well, they can't do the Shield package and completely cut him out.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. But still, he gets mentioned.
Yeah. Well, good for him. Yeah, I like that. They don't care. Just show it. It happened. We all know. Let's just
exactly.
That's another one of those things I like about the new WWE. Like they don't go out of their way to mention people, but they also don't go out of their way to scrub people either.
Right, that's true. And they don't
just
scrub.
Let it be what it is. You know, we know.
You're right. You hear a lot of JR, for example, now too, which is good.
Yeah, there's no heat with JR.
Nah.
Okay, Jimmy, this is fun. The next match is. This sounds like a fucking a medieval dream. It's Knight versus Archer. Does this sound like a class battle in like one of those like mobile games or something?
It does. Yeah. Knight versus Archer. I like it.
You can get 10 free pulls if you invite a friend.
Well, thank God the Knight wins.
You have faced a knight and lost.
That's funny. That's actually great, man. Is it just me? Now the more I can see Knight's face a little bit, he's starting to remind me of Derrick Rose a little bit on his face. If you know who I'm talking about, the basketball player, a little bit.
Oh, I see a little bit there.
I don't know why, but that's what came to mind when, especially on Collision.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know how this goes. Lance Archer will beat up a guy for about 10 minutes and then lose. And
Knight does get the win over the Archers.
Mm-hmm. He basically hits him with his finish twice. He does his jumping clothesline finish to the outside, and then Archer rolls in the ring and gets hit with the clothesline finish on the inside, and 1, 2, 3. The Jet picks up a big win, a strong win. Then we get a promo from the new Trios champs, basically Samoa Joe does accept this challenge for Jon Moxley.
Of course he would.
The other two guys don't say anything. Then we get Renee with Jamie Hayter and Chris Stat, yada, 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 just generic. Then Tony Schiavone reads a prepared apology from Axon and Cashson, where they say that they weren't really going to pile drive him. They just want to scare him a little bit, and they love him, and they want to hug and kiss him like they hug and kiss each other.
Amanda hugging
before they
kiss?
go to bed at night, and yeah.
I mean, this is going nowhere, this storyline, dude. Honestly, it's going nowhere. Where's it going, man? I don't even care.
Oh, it's going to a match with Tony Schiavone, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So Don Callis formally welcomes Josh Alexander to the Callis family. That's a little promo, like, to start this next segment, which then it's him coming out, Callis, that is, for commentary, as usual, for this tag team of Josh Alexander and Takeshita, who are taking on Big Tom and Rocky Romero. And this match happens. And then what happens, like where who's going to win, right? But then one spot in the match, Rocky accidentally gets clotheslined by Ishii. And then the Callis family ends up beating, they end up getting the win. And then
Roppongi?
Rocky and Ishii are out there arguing, and then a mysterious man in a hoodie shows up and attacks Tomohiro Ishii. And that's Trent Beretta in a hoodie.
Isn't he always in a hoodie when he does his shit? The point is, Roppongi Vice is back. And you know what the sad part is? I used to be a fan of Roppongi Vice.
That is sad. That is the saddest thing you've ever said in your life.
I know. I'm talking about many years ago, okay? many years ago.
You've said some embarrassing things about yourself on the air in the past.
I didn't mind them.
And this is by far more embarrassing than you taking a punch from rings, more embarrassing than some of the stories you told about.
You remember.
I'm just saying, like, you saying I used to be a fan of Roppongi Vice is indicting on a whole other level than anything else you've ever said.
God, I'm getting red. I'm feeling like I'm getting red. But I was a fan of him. I said it. I'll live by it. But fuck this version of Roppongi Vice all over again. I don't like it. He's stupid, dumb. Beretta, get the fuck off my TV screen. Shouldn't he have been 5 years ago?
Do you like how Rocky Romero bothered to go through with the entire tag match getting his ass kicked and then turn on his partner?
Of course. Why not? I mean, that's how it works in AEW, right? It's stupid. This is all stupid, dude. I don't like little people,
if they won?
Frank. Sorry?
What if Rocky and Tom pulled off the upset? Then what was Trent going to do? Would he still attack him just because?
Oh, well, why not? Just because. I'm sure he would have. But no, this is just all dumb all the way across. And they all celebrate in the ring like there's some cool cats in the ring and whatnot.
We're not even, dude, we didn't even really.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Don Callis gives Trent a pipe wrench. And he hits Ishii with a pipe wrench.
And then Ishii's left laying towards the apron of the ring while everyone's laughing and parading.
Yep.
Ridiculous, Vet. This was just ridiculous, man. How am I supposed to get into this shit?
So the Don Callis family now has more members by a significant margin than the Death Riders.
And what does this mean moving forward? Are we going to get the mega showdown between the Roppongi Callis crew?
Oh no.
And the Dick Riders, or we'll pretend they don't exist?
Yeah, that one. That's the one we're going to do.
Cold Blooded actually said it. It's the Dungeon of Doom 2000 edition. 100%, man. Even worse.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Dungeon of Doom members were over 200 pounds, though.
That's true, at least. I mean, he had some great guys in that group when you think about it.
Yeah, and why do I feel like Tomohiro Ishii's not going to get any sort of retribution on these guys?
Because you won't.
Yeah.
You know it. I know it. Everyone knows.
Now.
Right back to Japan he goes. That was their way of writing him out.
Not that he was in, because I was surprised to see him here.
Right. I mean,
like, he wasn't in.
He spontaneously. Right. Exactly. Because.
All right. All right. Next is Lexi and Mercedes and Harley and Mercedes.
God.
Another,
why, man? Why are these two becoming a thing now, man?
Did we talk about how the puppet is Mercedes' idea?
I didn't know that. Was it really her idea?
Yeah, I guess Harley was on. What was she on? Chris Van Vliet or one of those? Like, I think she was on.
I didn't see it. I haven't watched that
shows, and he asked her about the puppet, and she said it was Mercedes' idea to do the puppet thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yep,
that's cool. Because it worked. It actually works for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to tell you guys Mercedes is cool, but you know, everybody
thinks she sucks. Yeah.
Everyone thinks she sucks, but
she can't be that dumb.
Job as a heel, I guess, because she's working everybody.
It's true.
Next is Megan with Penelope versus the handicapped. They're the handicapped duo of Rebecca Scott and Ashley Vox, but it's going to take more than two jabronis to beat Megan Bain because we got to get her strong wins back now that she's done one favor. These two women bowed down, and we wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah, I don't like how they're resetting this bullshit again, only for her to probably lose again anyway. I mean, whatever.
Oh, yeah, it was Jericho with the puppet. That's
what?
Rick correct. It was on Talk is Jericho, not Chris Van Vliet, that she said the puppet. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rick, by the way.
Yeah, they're not, the AEW ain't going to sell those, bro. You know how much it costs to make a simple puppet like that? It's like hundreds of dollars.
What was it? American made? Literally?
Dude. Ask Vince how much that disco puppet costs. Those things ain't cheap. They look cheap. They're not
Come
cheap.
on, are you being serious?
Yes. You don't know how much like a Muppet costs? It costs like $1,000 to get like one of those, like something. I'm not saying her specific one costs $1,000, but you don't just make it. It's not a sock puppet. You don't just make that like it's no big deal.
Even like what Joan says in the chat, even if it's China made.
Even if it's China made. It can be China made, but it's going to be American sold. Like that.
Or designed in America, like it usually says. China made, designed in the US. But you know what? Maybe if you go to Temu.com, you can find the Temu version. That will look practically the same for $5.
Yep. Or you could go to channelattitude.com and sign up. $5.
That's
probably a better $5.
Absolutely.
So speaking of puppets, Anthony Bowens gets a package here.
Yeah. Cool. What are they doing with him already?
Moving on. It's time for the Adam Cole Bebe TNT Open Challenge. The challenger is Claudio Castagnoli, who's still pissed off about what happened yesternight. And
yesternight.
yeah. And this match was the exact same match as the medieval match we saw earlier, except this time at least Cole didn't just bow up and hit his finisher on him a couple times to beat him. He actually just crucifixed Claudio and escaped with a win rather than beating him like legit. But
the good old roll up, Vet.
Yeah. But then Claudio got even more mad and decided he was going to tear everything up again. But the Death Riders come back out and calmed him down. Hey, look,
why though?
They were like, hey, man, we already did this at the top of the show. Let's not do it again. Let's just go back. I know we're the Death Riders, and I know our whole thing is chaos and killing people literally, but can you just calm down, please?
Again, why are they backwards now? Well, at least the next part is good, if you know what I mean.
The next part? Well.
Oh, the next match.
The next part is Lexi with the tree branches. She asked what's next for them now that Jericho's fucking disappointed. And Big Bill, they both say some stuff, but essentially Big Bill says what's next is we're going to crack some skulls. So there you go. Next, the next match is LFI versus KM, LSG, and well, this guy didn't use initials. He called himself Rosario Grillo, but I mean, despite the fact he didn't want to play along with the whole initials game, they get their ass kicked, and he gets the Hearns.
Can I just say this, sir?
Yes. Yep, that's the best thing about this. Well, Roosh is cool too.
I just wanted to say it because he's there, even though it's all of the initials in this match, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, Roosh, I don't know when I'm going to see him next. Who knows? So I'm not going to get excited.
He's here. He's like a
exactly.
Like a shooting star, you know.
Literally, I mean, come on, dude. But
and shooting.
Oh God! But the next match, and I know you've got something else to say. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah, Renee is with the Jet and Speedball, and they're interrupted by Ricochet, and he's like, "Hey,
this is funny.
Fuckers cost me $400,000,"
and they're just laughing.
Yeah, and Kevin Knight's like, "Well, I can do anything you could do. I can even do one thing that you can't do." And Ricochet's like, "What's that?" And Kevin Knight just shakes his braids.
And they both laugh. I'm talking about the Speedball and Knight. I mean, Ricochet right now is like the class clown, dude, but in a good way. I don't mind it, you know what I mean? But, you know, apparently he's got all this freedom in AEW. Heck, even Lexis King, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr., actually was doing an interview earlier in the week, actually saying that in AEW, they were literally free to do whatever they wanted. Which was, he goes, a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
It explains the lack of cohesion.
Right. Exactamundo. Sometimes, like, again, they need a leader, a proper leader, someone to lead everybody. That just, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next thing that exists is Nikosaurus versus Commander for the Ring of Honor TV Championship.
Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne. Your new Ring of Honor television champion. Can you believe that?
Yep.
Wow.
And what interesting timing, because, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, now that he's the Ring of Honor television champion, and doesn't he have to go over to Japan for the Best of Super Juniors?
I guess he does. Right? I mean, you'd think.
It would be interesting if he just carried his TV title around with him in Japan for every match.
He probably will. I mean,
not that they would do the same favor for New Japan if somebody brought a title over here, but you don't
even know. You don't even know it exists. I mean, but you know what, dude? I think he'll be a good thing. I'm going to say something nice about him. I think he'll do well in Japan.
Think?
I do. As a matter of fact, let him go for an excursion over there and learn more. I think he'll do wonders for him.
You know, when they sent
Takeshita?
Yuta over to do a Super Juniors, and I was hoping that he would, this is back when I was watching New Japan, and I was hoping that he would kind of, you know, get a little bit of grit over there, but he still was kind of soft the whole time.
He did get a kind of a little bit of grit back from there, sort of. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
I'm trying to say
he has more grit now,
right? And that's
being with his Death Riders crew. Funny enough, than he did.
Yeah, but it took a long time.
Japanese guys.
It is what it is. I still don't understand what. I know Yuta's not too bad. He's not that bad. All right, let's be honest. We shit on him, but he's not that good either. But he has improved very slightly and does so slightly every time. He might not be quick enough, but still he shows some sort of improvement. I just feel that he's scared for whatever reason. Like, he comes across as like, I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to disappoint everyone type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And then, you know, he fucks up and then he's like, oh, shit. I can imagine in the back, he'll be like a nervous wreck over fucking up something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about him, but he's still weird. There's something weird about him in the ring.
He's definitely weird. He's half Japanese, isn't he? Right? I'm pretty sure he is.
No?
Okay. I thought he was.
I don't think so.
I'll look that up. We're going to look that up.
Well, his mom is Japanese, so I don't think his dad is.
I'm talking about Yuta now, by the way.
Oh, Yuta, yeah. I thought
Yeah,
you were talking about Nick
not Wayne.
We're talking about
No.
Nick Wayne here.
That's why when you said that, I'm like, hang on a minute.
His mom is Japanese, I believe.
Right,
Wait,
yeah.
Or is his dad? Well,
I think it's his dad, actually.
Well, you would think so with the last name, but then
With Yuta.
Utah.
Well, isn't he from Utah?
Johnny Utah.
Yeah, but no, really, he's from Utah, but isn't he?
No.
I thought he was. Oh, anyway, who cares? The point is, I'm pretty sure he's half Japanese.
All right, he is. But who cares about him? We're talking about Nick Wayne, and let's see what Nick Wayne does in the Super Juniors.
Let's see.
Hologram's going to return next week, so I know you were all missing him.
I didn't even realize he was gone.
Yep, he's been gone, but he'll be back. Security prevents Top Flight and crew from having next week's Tornado Tag match right now. We don't want that. We don't want a backstage. We don't want any incidents of violence here at AEW. So let's get security in here. Then we have Timeless Tony Storm on commentary for the main event, which is the Money Wrath Train versus Jamie Hayter and Dark Julia. Yeah. At one point, there was a spot where they tagged the puppet in.
The look on your face, but
it ended up over. It ended up over in the enemy corner where Julia Hart stepped on it.
As she should. Damn it.
Yeah, she was just lightly grinding the puppet out like it was a cigarette on the street.
I love the look on your face when you first said it, though. That was priceless.
Yeah, what can you do?
Oh, man, that is great.
But anyway, shit. Yeah, so that, they had a match, it's whatever. It's Harley Cameron's still, people are still selling for her. It's weird to watch. But she's still going to take the fall in this because, and also Chris Statlander is going to fall down on her way into going into the finish because she crumbles under the weight of the massive Harley Cameron, and just falls down. And then, they just go into it. No, it's actually, I think she had Moné at the time. She was like carrying Moné and then she fell. And then instead of Moné cutting her off and going back into it, she just picked her back up off, like from off the ground. It was just terrible.
And she hit the Haterade for the win.
Yeah, if that's what you want to call it. Chase Owens would call it the jewel heist.
Oh, whatever. Yeah. But surprisingly, well, not really, but I guess Fatlander and Dark Julia get the win. Am I an asshole for saying that?
They sure do.
You know what? Was it actually, before we move on, was it Rick?
It's the end.
I know, it's the end. Which I don't understand how. Is it lately the women have been main eventing collisions, but it's been underwhelming though. But before we move on to finish everything, I think it was RBV that told me, I'm pretty sure it was either him or MSG. They go to me privately. Is it just me or was Chris Statlander put on weight? And I started laughing. I go, well, we have been calling her Fatlander on the Wreckage, so you know what I mean? She's definitely put on weight. But she keeps putting on weight. Mm-hmm. I mean, she needs to slow down
in this match.
Well, like I said, we're assholes. We can be pricks. She
collapsed under her own weight.
Well, I'm telling you, dude. I mean, that's a possibility because her legs are huge, man. Now, yeah. Her ass. I mean,
both her knees are shot, right?
Yeah, they're both. Zane saying, Jimmy, look, I can fat shame because I'm fat, all right? I can say whatever I want. But no, yeah, she's got two bad knees. And they're really bad knees. And for someone her age, she should probably consider losing weight. I mean, because of those knees. If you want to prolong your career, but she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. If she was a regular civilian, I wouldn't worry about it.
No, absolutely not.
But she is a pro athlete. She is a pro athlete in a cosmetic business, and she was less fat. It's not like a case of she was always this size, and we've been
she looks great.
She used to be in better shape. Now she's not. And like I just said, for the third or fourth time here on Collision, she fell the fuck down in a match.
in a black hole.
Herself on TV. So like, take the signs, do a little bit better, clean yourself up.
Do some push-ups
and the sake of the company. But yeah, and it's even easier for other people to see. If like you don't watch AEW on a weekly basis, if you haven't seen her in a long time, she's going to appear extra fat. Like we've gradually seen her put the weight on, and we still noticed it. But now imagine you haven't watched it in 2 months, 3 months, or whatever, and then you see her, you're like, geez, what happened?
She's a Pumbaa if you haven't watched it in months. And Zane thinks she should gain more weight, quite frankly.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, cool, Zane, cool.
It's not like you're going to be able to do anything with it, but, a man can
he
have
likes
fantasies.
big butts.
Yeah. So.
And don't call me racist, you Jesus. Calling me racist and fat shaming will not be tolerated.
We weren't even talking about any of the races that you're a racist against, Jimmy. So I don't even.
I know at all. I know. Why did I acknowledge it? True.
Yeah.
I know. My bad. But you're right. But anyway, I know he's just trolling me, but still, it annoys me just saying that. But yeah, I guess that's the AEW for the week. Actually, we did it pretty fast, dude. We were on a roll.
Yeah,
for once.
To say there was just a few long matches that I didn't bother recapping.
No, I like it, man.
What was I going to do? Read out the entire Ospreay and Takeshita match like Brian Alvarez?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? One thing you've...
All right, well, we still got time. I could pull up...
No. Stay there. Stop. Don't do that. But the one thing I've learned from you is not to do that either, even when I'm doing my own reviews. There's no point of going hold for hold. If you want to see hold for hold, watch the damn show. I mean, Jesus. Then you can see hold for hold. But anyway, Vet.
But I will say, on that note, go ahead and, if you did want to go back and watch something from this week, Athena versus Moné.
Was Money.
Yes. Go watch that. Check out that Dick Togo Power Slam. Oh, my goodness gracious.
No, that was the match of the week for AEW by far.
Dude, that was a match of the week.
It was. It
Name
was.
a better match.
People will say Takeshita and Will Ospreay was, but no. That women's match was definitely the match of the week for me too. But go check that out if you want to watch a good match in AEW. But I'm glad that's over with because it's a busy night tonight with WrestleMania night too. Vet, jump on the watch along, man, because I might jump on too. I'm assuming RBV will jump on as well. Brandon didn't join us for the review show too, halfway through.
Well, it's all up in the air. We got a busy weekend. We got lots of stuff to do. I've got lots of stuff to watch. You can find me at Opinion Haver everywhere. If you need to get my thoughts on anything personally, you want to see what I think. I'm not going to be tweeting it out there for you. You're just going to have to ask me yourself. But if you want to, you go to all my social medias. They're all Opinion Haver. You don't have to, not anything weird, not like Opinion Haver dot something or anything like that. Or like a 3 in place of the E or something. It's all just Opinion Haver. No, no substitutes will be accepted. It'll be obvious if it's not me. The couple accounts that aren't me, you'll be able to spot right away. But yeah, so you could do that. Next Level Wrestling Review coming up with Big Ray Hernandez every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll talk about Stand to Deliver, which I still have yet to watch, and we'll talk about the current episode of NXT. We've got the Impact Attack coming up tomorrow night, live 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern with Brandon. Talk about TNA right in the middle of Raw. Put Raw on pause, talk about Impact for a while, then unpause and go back to Raw with Brandon afterwards. Sometimes I even jump on the first half of the Raw review or Raw watch along. So you could, if you like me, you could check me out there too. Hear me comment on one of the flagship shows for a change instead of all the rest of the assorted crap that the wrestling business shits out every week. You already know about the Wreckage every Sunday. Check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday. They were back, baby. Back this Friday. Answering your questions, having a good old time, telling stories as usual. Stevie Richards is back. Doing big things every Friday as well. New content. Stevie Richards show. Definitely check him out. Check out his small YouTube plaque. Then you got Limpin' Ain't Easy. We're seeing that subscriber count has doubled now, at least from what the screen says right there, but that's still way too low. So we got to get Timmy up. He's just been killing it recently with everybody from EC3 and Matt Cardona to the most recent one is Nick Nemeth himself, the Dolph Ziggler man. Those guys and Dolph Ziggler, you know, just on that latest episode, I listened to it. He's still the same insufferable douche he's always been, and he keeps on doing it. And just when you think you can't get enough sick of him, he can make you even more sick. So check that out. Get sick. That's pretty much it for me. And then, of course, we'll see if I join in any of the WrestleMania festivities that are going on the rest of this weekend at Hami Media Group. But, Jimmy, you could tell the people about those. Yeah,
as a matter of fact, come and check out the WrestleMania review show after the watch-along with myself. RBV will also be part of it. I try to bring in Jargo, but unfortunately, he's busy working. But you know what, Vet? I got a proposition for you. How about you join us Tuesday morning for I Like It Raw with myself, Big Ray, and Jargo. He's going to be on Tuesday morning. Yeah, and I was actually going to say this to you, but I forgot about it earlier.
You might have to appear. You're
going to have to appear. So we could have an all-star cast Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. for I Like It Raw, where we will talk, obviously, about WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania. So tune in for that, because that's going to be a big one, no doubt about it. Of course, the Smack Attack is up, and it's for free this week because it's WrestleMania week, and it is right here on Humming's Media Group's YouTube channel with myself and RBV. And also check out the Friday Locker Room, which is also free this week with myself, RBV, Pierce Austin, and MSG, where we do our predictions kind of for WrestleMania, and we talk all the news. It's actually a great show. Go check that out. And of course, the Wreckage, as you said. So I think that covers everything, Vet. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams.
Oh, wait.
And you've been...
One more thing before we go, Jimmy. One more thing.
What's that?
I just picked this up. Just so happened to see a little something, because we're not going to be getting it for a while. And
What's
I figured that I should bring it to you guys. But what did I see when I was strolling through one of the aisles at your local store? And what did I see but a Bang Bang Gang variant of the Switchblade. One of 5,000. Only 5,000 of these exist in the world. So, you know,
What, you got the first one?
Well, it just says 1 of 5,000. I don't know if it's the 1 of 5,000, but it's got the Bang Bang Gang shirt. The exclusive right there. The regular one doesn't have this shirt. So
I've never seen that one before. Not even in my shops. No shit. I didn't even know that one existed.
Off the molds, Jimmy, mint on card, Jay White.
That's awesome.
Last rock and roller. The man who single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden.
Garden. He did. He actually did. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. He actually did. That's awesome, dude. I want that, man. I kind of want to collect Jay White figurines, man. But you're beating me to the punch.
Yeah, I'm 2-0 on you.
You are, but the other one looks the best, period.
Oh, yeah, with the red.
It just looks way more real and I guess way more expensive than that one, right? Like, how much did that one cost?
It was like 20 American.
Oh, that's cheap, dude. That's a bargain. Compared to even the other one. I mean, that is a real bargain. But if that's 1 in 5,000, that will be worth something for sure in the future, man. I know you won't sell it, but if you do, I'm sure you get a good mint for it. So that's awesome. I'm pumped for that. But in saying that, we should take our leave. As I said, I'm Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the best in the world, the vet Jay White. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage.
The Wreckage. I'm trying to do Jay White, even though I shouldn't even try to put on an accent. It's pretty similar. I should just scream at it. But yeah, that Wreckage. And we'll see you next week. Well, actually, we'll see you probably later on tonight, of course, for everything else. But till then, take it easy. Happy Easter and peace.
This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.